Hello, my name is Brian Gilbert. I'm the Executive Director of EdHR.org. We strive collaboratively to make this the best EHR available for educational purposes. And through our services, we're dedicated to making your lives as healthcare educators better. In this video, I'd like to demonstrate the capabilities of EdHR with barcode scanning to help make sure you have the right medication for the right patient at the right time. Also, how to administer multiple medications in the same period. For this demonstration, I'll use a case study that I created with ChatGPT. I asked the AI to create me a case scenario where I have a patient that has multiple medications that need to be administered at the same time. From there, after creating the case study, I connected it to an activity for a student to access, which is where we will start. If at any time you'd like to send me an email at info@edhr.org, I'd be very pleased to accept your comments, questions, and suggestions for making improvements. Let's start the demonstration. Initially, each student signs in. This is a simulated sign-in process. It's quite simple. They can fill in whatever they want. They can change their name and their profession. Now let's just take a moment to review the page that we see here, assuming that you're new to this application. Apologies to those that know it already. Across the top is the application banner. The next is we have the context banner. This changes whether you're a student, instructor, or content creator. As a student, you get to see your name, which is helpful, the application or the activity title, and the instructions from the faculty member. The instructions say, set up the simulation time to 2000 bedtime. Next, scan the EMR page to see which medications need to be administered. Prepare to verify all the rights. Administer and document. Use a barcode scanner to verify you have correct patient and medications. So let's make an adjustment to the time as requested, 2000 bedtime. Now this simulation time will show the time relative to day 0 being the first encounter day. The time can be controlled by the students or can be restricted by the instructor, and they will manage it. In this case, it's free for the student to use. Next, across the banner, we have our sign-in area, and then we have the submit button, which the student uses when we're finished the work. And the faculty then can create feedback, and we can see them here as a student and click on it if we have a lot more details. In this scenario, we have a patient named Mr. Khan. He's 68 years old, and we have a birth date. We'll point out that EdHR always makes sure that the birth date is based on today's date and the patient's age. So we've got things set up with that. Now, we're asked to go and look at the MAR. Let's use the quick menu for quickly accessing key pages. Of course, we can use also we have the main navigation. I'll just move this aside so we can see the whole main navigation. In which case we can see all the pages in the EHR, of which there are many, and a growing number. We can also collapse the main navigation to create more space in the EHR content. So let's do that, and we will go to medication administration records, which we can also get to from the quick menu. We'll scroll over, and we can see that there's multiple medications to be administered. Aspirin, I won't pronounce it. It's not my specialty. These buttons are disabled until they're enabled through barcode scanning. So let me digress a little bit and suggest on how do we get this all set up for you to create your own simulation. So you need to have medications. So I went out and bought some colored M&Ms and bagged them up into little baggies. That's fine. That's, of course, you'll have better educational tools, but you can start with something very simple. Then the other thing we do is we purchase a barcode scanner. A 2D scanner is important. They range from $30 to $40, and they're quite simple to use, plug and play. Now, if you plug it into the computer, you can plug it into many computers, or if you use the wireless, then you pair it from wireless device to your computer. It does make it more difficult, yet your students are pretty savvy, and they could probably reconnect this to their iPad in no time flat. The next thing is you need to have the patient summary ready to go with the barcodes. And we use this patient summary button here, in which we have the QR codes. I find that they're very compact and useful for putting onto small devices and for creating wristbands. And then you take this page and you cut it out and put them onto longer strips, which you can then attach to your medications or create for a wristband for around your patient. And there we go. Now you might have an Omnicell, more complex setup, but with this setup, I believe you can both do a situation where the WOW station or the medication station is outside the patient room or away from the scenario bed, as well as you could do it right beside the patient's bed. So it has quite a bit of versatility, and I'm interested in learning if you have any difficulty in creating a scenario that works for your educational purposes. What's next? So let's take a look at the medications themselves and how those are set up. This is definitely a topic for another video, so this is just a quick review of all the medications and adding a medication order. So aspirin. So what happens is we have a database behind the scenes. There's two. We have the Health Canada database and the Veterans Affairs database. You can select which one as a faculty member in the configurations area for your instance. Selecting that the medication gives you some background data about the medication, and I'm working on this area some more, and then you can assign the dose, timing, and route, etc. As I said, medications is a topic for another video. But this case, I was able to create all of the medications required by the case scenario for our purposes today. So now we have the setup all done, and we're ready to begin as if we're a student doing the MAR. We've also seen that the student can go through and look at vitals, lab reports, medications, diagnosis, etc., to make sure that they have all the necessary background information. So let's try and do our medication administration. So I'm going to take the barcode scanner and the patient wristband, which is on the mannequin. Oh, let's start up the barcode dialog. So we start the barcode dialog. Automatically, the cursor is placed in the correct field. So we can then, the first beep is a connection beep. It's connected. Now the next one is we've scanned the patient's wristband. EdHR is a pedagogical tool. So unlike EHRs, which probably don't do this, what we're presenting here is, strive to present, is the information the student needs to know that they are doing the right medication of the right patient and all the rights that you wish to instruct them in. So this really helps here. We can verify the date of birth. We can use the weight for doing calculations later on, although that's also on the patient banner. But we can see that we have the risks, the diagnoses ready to go for verifying that we have the right medications. So now the cursor automatically goes into the medication area once the correct MRN has been scanned, and then we can quickly see the number of medications with the scanner, and each one adds to this dialog box, in which case we can, before we go further, verify that we have the right medication, dose, time, the reason. Is it the right time or the right reason for applying? Are there any alerts to be aware of? When was it administered before? So previous administrations here, that's useful for calculating max doses, say, of PRN medications. And when's it scheduled? Well, it's scheduled for now in simulation time. And we can remove a medication if we didn't mean to, or we don't wish to administer this one at this time. So the save dialog, all it does is just really activates this row and activates the buttons that we can then do the administration. Let's take a look at the dialog for administration. Again, we have the medication order for all the review, making sure we're doing the right thing. We can say it's administered. Oops, get rid of this here. 81 milligrams is the amount. Yes, we did it through PO. Now the event time is in case, say, the time of day is 8:30, but the medication itself was administered at 8 o'clock or 2000. So the event time is the time of administration, and that can be edited by the user. Location is for intravenous and injection. Second signature if that's required, but here's the barcode scan check. This checkbox shows you that the student used a barcode scanner. This won't be checked if it didn't. The comment area is for professional comments about the administration, anything to note about the patient. And internal comments is an area for the student to pass on, at your request, information they're thinking. Why were they administering or not about this medication? So this is for communication from student to instructor. For now, let's save the dialog box. And the next step is that with all records in the EdHR, the user has to verify that they're correct, such as in a real system. Because once submitted, you can't change them. So the student can save it as a draft or verify and proceed. And then they would actually continue on to the next medication and then the next medication. There. So they can actually go ahead and do all of those. But also, you can just cancel and start over. The other way to activate them is to select the row and click on the medication itself, but then the barcode scan isn't there. And that's really great for doing held or missed or refused or skipped medication orders. Cancel. Confirm cancel. And that's the demonstration. At this point, the student would be finished and putting up the submission for your review. And then you could be reviewing their work and giving them feedback, and they would get to see it later on. So I hope you found this useful and interesting. And once again, the way to reach out to us is info@edhr.org. And we look forward to your comments, questions, and suggestions for improvements. Thank you very much.